So the ancient god kid or whatever he said, you have what you both wanted and needed, so now you will be able to complete all your missions, and I already know what you're going to do with all your women. You're going to use that serum of yours and then you're going to impregnate them all into oblivion, especially her. And then Harley Quinn got excited and she yelled and squeaked and she said, oh my god baby, we are actually having kids soon. And I said, yes darling, we will. And then I kissed Harley Quinn and she jumped in my arms and wrapped her legs around my hips, and the little kid said, get out of here and go get your own room. And I said, goodbye sir. And then when I got out, Dukra said, you and your girlfriend come with me. And then the beautiful young looking Dukra decided to have sex with me and Harley Quinn in her private bed and for many days, and I copied myself and I gave both women double penetration for many days, and then they both had massive orgasms and they sucked my member ravenously. After I made love to them in every sexual position, they sucked all my seed and they swallowed it, and then I gave them both cream pies in all their naughty holes, and I think I might have gotten Dukra pregnant. And now I was laying there with both women looking cross-eyed and they were laughing and smiling like idiots after I broke their minds with massive orgasms, and I'm definitely sure that I got both women pregnant because I used my X-ray vision on them both, and that's how I found out. And right now both women were feeling overwhelming love and lust for me, and I knew as soon as they woke up again they were going to have sex with me again, so I decided to stay in bed with them. And then as soon as Harley Quinn woke up, she started having sex with me again immediately, and then I magically cut on the Stand By Me song and she said, okay I like it. And I said, fuck yes Harley, don't stop, keep going baby. And she said, yes, oh my god baby, yes you're so big, I love it so much. And she continued riding me hard in the cowgirl position and I expelled all my seed in her vagina, and then I finally went cross-eyed and I had a massive orgasm, and then she quickly sucked my member ravenously, and then I exploded in her mouth again, and then she stuck my member in her butthole, and I also let out all my white juice in her butthole too. And then Dukra spoke and said, I think I will have my turn now. And then Dukra also screwed me silly just like I did to them. They also did the same to me, and then they continued having sex with me for nearly 2 weeks, and I enjoyed every minute of it because Dukra is a young beautiful curvy Asian woman in my universe, and Harley Quinn is also a very gorgeous pale white woman, and she looks like a pale white Margot Robbie, and I love that. It just makes me love her even more. And I said I could have sex with both of you forever and I want to, and Dukra said, really, I would love to put that to the test one day because I've been curious if you're even mortal anymore. And I said I might not be mortal anymore, and then that's when I told her about my serum that I used on myself some time ago, and she said yes, that should do it. And she said, I also know what that means too, your muscles also never get tired, so as long as you're aroused you can keep your erection. Also I think I'm going to have lots of fun with you, Dukra said with a lewd and devious expression, and then she sat on my member in the reverse cowgirl position and she started moaning and grunting and groaning rapidly, and I spanked her big round bubble butt, and then she said, oh yes baby, spank my butt again. And I said, yes ma'am, oh yes baby. And then I let out my seed again and she screamed and moaned and said, oh my god baby, that feels so good and warm. And I said, oh my god baby, we have to stop. And she said, oh please no you don't. And I said, but I have other things to do. And she said, it can wait, and so can your other women. Right now you need to make me and Harley Quinn happy. And I said, yes ma'am. And then I continued having sex with Harley and the young beautiful version of Dukra, and by the time we're done we slept for a while, and I created some food with my powers. I created a few pepperoni pizzas with peach teas, and Harley Quinn ate with me, and Dukra asked, what is this dish? And I said it's called pizza, and I think pizza originated in Italy or something like that, and then it became popular in America as pizza places like Pizza Hut and Domino's. And yes, our DC Earth has those 2 pizza places, thank God. And Harley Quinn said, I love going to those places to get some pizza. And then Harley Quinn said, I want a big Pepsi next time though, if you don't mind Batsy, and said, baby, I like it when you call me Puddin'. And she said, of course, but I like calling you that too. And I said, it's fine baby, you can call me whatever you want, I love you. And she giggled and squealed cutely and she jumped in my arms and she said, let's go back to that mean old man and beat him up or kill him. And then Dukra said, wait.